love it in here this time of year because you've got the Christmas trees, and when you have evening meetings, they're all lit up. And it feels really festive. Oh, we're broadcasting up. Okay, I won't go off tangent. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to the Greater Norwich Growth Board 11th of December, our December meeting. Item 1, apologies. Rob, do we have any apologies, please?
Thank you. We have apologies from Councillor Mason Billig and also from and Tom McCabe as well.
Okay, fine, thank you. I don't think we have any more. We have some people joining us online. So I can see Sue. Hello, Sue. I'll try and keep an eye. If you put your hand up, I'll keep an eye on the screen for you. Item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest, please? No. So we'll move straight. Minutes of the meeting on the 24th of June. Is it that long ago now? Item 3, can we accept these, please, as the correct record? Yeah, Daniel's nodding. I can't see Sue anymore. Is she nodding? Great. Okay, Sue is nodding.
Yes, I'm agreeing.
So they're agreed. Thank you. So we'll move straight on to item 4 then, the project showcase for Aylsham Gym and Fitness Hub. And we have Steve Peel here. Are you Steve? You are Steve. Hello, Steve. Great. Over to you.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting us here today. So my name is Steve Peat. I'm the Leisure and Sport Strategic Development Manager for South Norfolk and Broadland Councils. And this is Joe Tuttle, who's the Director of Business and Community Strategy at Aylsham High School and the Director of Aylsham Sports Hub. So I'll give a sort of brief background and then I'll hand over to Joe to talk about the project and the good stuff. So the project essentially here, so Aylsham Sports Hub is situated on the Aylsham High School site. The idea was to add a gym which could be used by the school and the community. So it was a 485 metre squared new building which houses a 40 station gym. Just to be clear, stations is just the way we measure gym size, so that's just 40 bits of equipment. There's a separate spin studio and there's changing areas and toilets, including disability provision as well. So an inclusive facility to be used by the school and the community. So why we supported this project really? So Aylsham is an area of growth, so it has around 800 new houses allocated within the GNLP within the next 10 years, and the GNLP itself makes provision for around 50,000 homes from 2018 to 2038 with an expected population growth of around 45,000 people. So definitely an area of growth, definitely an area where some infrastructure is needed. So Aylsham Sports Hub, it has a really good track record of delivery and experience of operations and running the facilities. So they've refurbished their sports hall, their swimming pool, delivered a 3G pitch. So Joe and her team do a really good job of managing and delivering these projects. So there's a lot of confidence there. There's obviously some benefit to the school and the wider community. And it helps the sports hub expand their offer and become financially sustainable, which is also important. So some good kind of rationale behind the project, and as I explained now, there's also a clear gap in supply. So I'm just going to flash this up quickly, which shows some health and fitness provision across Broadland. Broadland does have a relatively low amount of health and fitness provision compared to other districts, so something that we're aware of and something we'd like to try and address. So that helps me to sort of a gap in supply there. And then also the other thing is Broadland is currently subject to pretty much commercial operators, which is great that we have those, but also we don't have the same spread of public health facilities in Broadland. So again, this is kind of the first real one, which is going to be run as a bit of a community facility. So that's the kind of reason for the support, and I'll hand over to Joe, who will explain more about the project and the outcome so far.
Okay, thank you. So Elsham Sports Hub started in 2018. So part of Elsham High School's philosophy is that school facilities should be part of a community hub, and school facilities should be central to the community. And in lots of ways since 2018, we've looked at different ways that we might be able to do that. And Elsham Sports Hub is one of the main ways that we've looked to do that. So we were very lucky back probably about 8 or 9 years ago to receive Section 106 monies under the 2 new developments in Elsham. And one of the first things that we looked at as part of that was the refurbishment of our swimming pool that we have there. If you can imagine, it was polygated roofing. I should probably put a picture in there of what it used to look like as part of that, but it was a very traditional 1950s pool in there. So we used some of that Section 106 monies to refurbish the swimming pool. And at that point, that's where Elsham Sports Hub, I suppose, was created. We wanted fundamentally to make sure that, again, those facilities could be used, but we were very appreciative of the fact that actually that takes a lot of effort and resources to actually get a commercial kind of community offer. So at that point, we looked at employing lifeguards, we looked at employing a leisure manager under our kind of guidance to move that forward. And this was our first stage, and the swimming pool basically then opened from 6:30 in the morning, 9:30 in the day, had primary usage during the day and secondary school usage, and then open every evening and weekends and school holidays as it is now. So we currently offer 40 hours worth of community usage, open usage to the community, and 17 hours worth of swim school lessons as part of that. We then looked at what our next stage was. We always had plans to provide a gym and community facilities. Unfortunately, at the time, we didn't feel we had enough money to do the full provision at that time. But we then looked at 3G because that was part of our plans, part of the process. And then we applied to the GNGB at the time in 2021, I think, to then offer 3G facilities, which we were successful for. And I'm appreciative of the GNGB for doing that. And we opened our FIFA and FA approved pitches back in 2022. Since that time, we've then moved the services that we provide forward. We've always offered our sports hall as open facilities. So we offer badminton as part of what we do, and courts, and we offer tennis. But we've also, since that time, included classes delivery and children's holiday activities. And we work under the HAF programme and offer quite a few places for that in the school holidays. We then moved forward and opened the gym and our spin studio in August 2025, and obviously now I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. I wasn't quite sure which button to press to move on. My technical skills. So project delivery. Sue came to opening and I was really grateful that she came along and opened that for us. We talked very much in there about this is a project of passion that has taken a long while to come to fruition. It's taken us 8 years to get to this point. It's something that we had the vision to deliver. However, I think, people will appreciate prices seem to go up constantly. So we were at a point, we always knew we didn't have enough money to deliver the project that we want to do in full. So when we were moved to probably 4 or 5 years down the line, we decided that actually, we needed to change the scheme that we originally put forward into stages to be able to deliver the project. And that's what we did at that time. We thought we were there. We got the funding through the GNGB, we re-tendered, and then prices had gone up again. And I think that's probably a common, pattern of projects. But we were in a position probably about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, to feel like actually we can move this project forward. We've delivered the project over a 9-month period. It started last sort of November, December time, and as I said, was opened in August 2025. As part of that process, we worked really collaboratively with Steve and his team to go and visit the leisure facilities that are in South Norfolk to really understand how community leisure facilities work. We weren't unappreciative of the step up we were making from delivering really great resources and facilities to the community, but actually we're kind of moving into the realms of a full leisure facility, and we weren't kind of underestimating the work and trying to take on the experience with others about how we do that. So we did that, and we also went and looked at lots of different equipment as part of that as well. And then we looked at how we upscaled Aylsham Sports Hub to a larger membership facility. Part of that model, just to quickly go through that, so Aylsham Sports Hub changed to a limited company with a charitable ownership back in 2023, mainly on the process that we could actually deliver a purpose-built leisure facility, but also on the basis that all our profits from that organisation go back into the community facilities and also go back into the schools to promote mainly social emotional mental health services for the children as part of that. But there is a very much a charitable aims for all those proceeds that generates. We work very much with working with the students as well. So we offer training as part of that to our year 11s. When they leave, we do lifeguard training. They then get employment within Aylsham Sports Hub. And we also offer swim assist and swim teacher training for ex-students as part of that. So moving forward to partner organisations, I've already mentioned a few. Aylsham High School, I wear 2 hats, and I have to remember that sometimes, you know, which camp I'm sitting in. You know, this wouldn't have happened without the vision of Aylsham High School, and moving forward those community facilities that I said at the beginning of really thinking that schools should be used for these purposes. Chaplain Farrant, who are our architects and have been on a number of projects for ourselves and really understand what our vision has been over time. Overmill, we're the construction company, and again we've worked with them on several different projects, and again they really understood what we wanted to do, and also Norfolk County Council have been involved in supporting around funding as part of that as well. So cost wise, we kind of touched on it already. Final cost was 1.6 million, but I think in terms of value for money, that doesn't feel unreasonable given what we provided in terms of the 40 station gym and the spin studio. The budgeted cost that we put into the GNGB was 1.41 million, so there is an overspend in there which we will recoup over time through Aylsham Sports Hub itself. The increase probably is several things. One was around, obviously the bill cost was the bill cost, and that didn't include planning, management fees as part of that. But we also had some issues over our drainage, whether we could connect into the existing development, and that took time to sort out. We also had some issues over roof height that we had to sort out. So a few things that came up along the way, but again, I think we worked out it's about 7.1% overspend. So I think in terms of projects these days, from what I've looked on online, that seems quite reasonable. It was funded itself, as I talked before, through the Section 106 monies that we have received from the original 2 developments, and we have a community agreement in place within that. So that community agreement is for the usage of the 3G pitch for 25 years, and we're in the process of adding the gym to that as well to make sure, you know, that although we have absolutely, as a leadership team across Aylsham Sports Hub and Aylsham High School, a vision around this, we want to make sure that actually future leaders have that same vision, and we want to protect those facilities for the future as well for others. Obviously the GNGB grant, which we're very, you know, thank you very much for, and Norfolk County Council and Aylsham Sports Hub has also supported the project. Membership and usage, so we've got some very smiley members there. We're absolutely overwhelmed by the kind of the feel of the gym and the way that the community has embraced it. You know, if we look at our membership statistics, we have 126 youth members at the moment who are aged 14 to 17. The facilities are open every day, 3:30 to 5 o'clock, specifically for youth members, which is absolutely fantastic. And then they're able to come on a Sunday and between 5 and 6 in the evening with an adult member. But what we have noticed from the youth membership is we have a large number of girls, which we are really pleased about, because there was a lot of statistics around healthy living and well-being, that girls actually are the hardest to try and infuse to get into healthy lifestyles. And I think, you know, having the gym and having youth workers working with us in those sessions between 3:30 and 5 has really enabled us to progress that youth membership, and hopefully they will then move on to be full members. And pricing wise, we price that competitively for our youth members on the basis that actually being linked to school, that has to be our main focus of, you know, working with those. We currently have 641 adult members. We're really again pleased with this. When we first opened, we capped membership at 400 because we were really conscious that we wanted our members to have a really good experience. It's a bit like new year, new me, new facilities opening, everybody wants to take part in it. So we're really conscious that we wanted to make sure that that community feel stayed. But very quickly, we've moved up to 641 adult members with a total membership of 852 at the moment, and with 85 swim only members as well as offering that. Usage wise, as you can see, we're averaging 155 per day. This is just predominantly on classes and gym usage. It's not 3G lettings, it's not other lettings or badminton courts. And obviously bearing in mind that the school has usage between 1:30 and 3:30, and then we have the youth members, so between 1 and 5, that's outside of that. So, you know, we're really again very pleased with the uptake and the numbers of people that are coming along. Our swim school has over 200 children attending lessons each week, and we have over 50 teams using our 3G every week. So it's a really busy hub. We've got lots and lots of people coming in and out. We've got the school holidays, we've got our HAF programme as part of that as well, and we've got a really good range of membership. So in terms of feedback and outcomes, we were really thinking about actually making sure this was a community facility and what our community would want. So we did several questionnaires out into the community about what the kind of things that they wanted from this facility, what type of equipment, what type of classes. And I think that is reflected in the feedback that we've had to date. Our oldest member is 89. He is there 6:30 on the dot, I would say 3 or 4 times a week. It's amazing. And our youngest member is 14, and we've got a complete range in between. We have our high rocks users, which is, you know, intense fitness. We have our weightlifters. We have our middle-aged users. We have such a wide range of people that are all very, very comfortable to work out together with no kind of issues or barriers. You know, some of this feedback you can see is, you know, people don't feel judged. They feel that they can ask anybody anything as part of that as well. And, you know, we've got lots of social groups going on within that as well as part of that. So future plans. We obviously, as a visionary organisation, we want to move forward. We already, you know, our next stage, which was part of the bigger picture originally, is around the community cafe and the changing facilities for the 3G. So that's one of the things that kind of we're earmarking to move forward. Community cafe is really important to us because we've got these social groups that are now coming along to the gym. We need to, you know, how we widen those as part of that. So we're looking at that. And also we're looking at potentially an indoor paddle court because it fits very nicely into the space we've got out the back, and at the moment it's dead space and we need to fill it. And there isn't, you know, those facilities in our area. So we're really happy with where we are at the moment, but absolutely we want to be able to move forward and provide additional community facilities for the area. And then the other area that we feel very passionate about is about advocating this model to other schools and to other organisations. You know, we're very open to people coming and have a look to see what we're doing, because I think it feels like a very big step for schools to take in a very busy area of the day-to-day schools environment. But actually, you know, if you do it, there's some amazing facilities that you can actually provide for your community. Thank you. So 2 of our friendly staff. So it's Darren, our manager, depending on which way you look at the screen, on the right-hand side, and Caleb, one of our gym instructors, on the left-hand side. So again, we just want to say we're really, you know, appreciative of the support the GNGB has offered us, and actually through this, and also Section 106 monies. Yeah, and any questions?
Well, thank you. That was a really, really interesting presentation. I would say it's a success story very clearly. It's really great to see the facilities opened up to the whole community, and also the idea of rolling it out to other schools. Sounds to me excellent, because I did notice when I saw the list of sports facilities in Broadland, they tended to be towards the city, the commercial ones. So really, really good. I feel a bit embarrassed. I mean, you said your oldest member is 89. I stopped going to the gym about 10 years ago. So I mean, and I'm nowhere near 89. And I do remember that new year, new me thing that you talked about when I was a regular gym goer. Every January, you get a huge influx of people. By the 1st of February, most of them are gone, but January is always a real nightmare trying to get on the equipment. Anyway, that's my gripe. Can I bring Sue? Did you want to comment at all about this?
Well,
I'm sure I
would
saw
ju- yeah,
in one of those
yeah.
pictures you were cutting a ribbon or something.
Yes, I was. I have to say it is a splendid setup. It really is. The space that's allowed, the fact that it's disabled friendly, I mean, everything about it is really, really good. And I thought the whole atmosphere of the people who work there, who worked on it, the people who came in to have a look, you know, it was really very much a community spirit, and I think it's just built on everything else they've done so far. So I just want to say congratulations to the team who put it together, because, you know, it really is an outstanding example of how you can make something like that work.
Absolutely. Any other comments or questions? No? Okay, well, I'll just say I noticed you cutting the ribbons, Sue. I'm not allowed to cut ribbons. Every time I get asked to cut a ribbon, it gets referred to the Lord Mayor. I'm told it's not my job.
I sneaked in, you know, you need to sneak in, you know, don't let them.
Yeah, I need to steal the robes and chains. Okay, so we're just noting this. So thank you very much. It's an excellent presentation. Really, really good news, good success story. And it looks like a model that really should be rolled out. So congratulations on your success. Let's move on to item 5 now, which is the Greater Norwich Education Capital Programme update. Isabel is going to update us, and the paper is on page 9.
Thank you very
Isabel,
much.
welcome.
Thank you very much. And just thank you to the board for the opportunity to bring this report to you this afternoon. As was mentioned, this is the annual report on education and the programme investment from the Infrastructure Fund, and looking forward to the future programme. This time around, we've also tried to provide some wider context to what's happening in schools and the education landscape in Greater Norwich. In particular, the wider context of funding, which we were able to access, and also just a bit more about some of the other investment that's coming in to the area, in particular picking up on some investment that's coming in from central government, from the Department for Education and a school rebuild programme. We have some particular successes that we'd like to highlight to you this year within this report, in particular thinking about delivery of schemes that have been funded, including completion of an expanded and relocated primary school at Blowfield, as well as a scheme to increase capacity at Heatherset High Academy, meeting pupil need that has come along from housing development. Also alongside this has been the opening of a new primary school for Silfield just outside Wymondham, which was funded by a previous Section 106 housing development agreement from some time ago. We're also now in a position to move ahead with the scheme at Wymondham High, which is in receipt of 2 years of the infrastructure fund, and we're expected to start on site into the financial year for 26-27. So this report said tries to provide a bit of wider context to the infrastructure programme from previous reporting, and how that fits within a broader capital fund of school places in the county, and in particular in the Greater Norwich area. So one of the greatest challenges for us at the moment, which hopefully will come across in this report, is the combination of housing growth, and with a slightly unpredictable pace depending on market conditions, alongside what we are seeing in some areas, of the county, across the county, and also affecting Greater Norwich, is a reduction in the demographics of birth rates, which is now feeding into our primary schools. This isn't something which is exclusive to our county and Greater Norwich, but it's also reflecting a national picture of population change. But what we are really trying to what we are aiming to focus on, as I think there is a collective belief that our new communities and large-scale developments do still need this major piece of infrastructure that is brought along through a new school. So we've divided this programme up into short, medium term and more longer term anticipated schemes based on the best information available at this time and when the report was written. So we have proposed new schools in some of the new communities in particular, and we're particularly focusing on those large scale developments and thinking about what it means for those communities in the longer term for people buying those homes. The timing of any new project will remain crucially linked to the pace of that housing and the families incoming into the area. And so we will continue to refine timings of the programme as more live information becomes available. And we work very closely with colleagues in the districts to understand the build rates. The most significant investment for the medium-term programme remains the new secondary school for the Rackheath development, where ongoing discussions taking place relating to timing of land transfer and how that relates to phasing of the housing development itself, and wider planning around this project delivery has begun in earnest. As you'll see from the two recommendations, this year we have identified that a request for the infrastructure fund to support a development close to Rackheath at Salhouse Primary School. There has been a number in this area of smaller developments ahead of the major housing numbers, which have put pressure on places in this area. Rackheath existing primary is on a constrained site and is full, and we're expecting more families and school age children ahead of being able to deliver the first primary school in this area. So the two recommendations for this report is firstly to note the delivery update on education capital programme projects in Greater Norwich, and the second to commit to recommending the 2.5 million from the Infrastructure Investment Fund to support expansion of Salhouse Primary School, which is set out in the 5-year infrastructure investment plan.
Thank you very much. That was very clear. Just to clarify, so to commit to recommending the 2.5 million, etc., presumably we'll be making the actual decision under item 6. So we're kind of preempting it by committing to do it. Okay, is that okay? And Rob, is that all right in terms of governance and such like? Has no issue with it, so we're okay. Good. Thank you very much. I think we're all really pleased to see this investment in schools and in education across Greater Norwich. It's really, really important, especially with all the housing growth and the population growth that we're expecting. I have no doubt it's quite difficult. It's unpredictable. So I understand that it's not an exact science and it's quite tricky for you. But anyway, it's excellent. Good to see. Does anyone else want to comment? Daniel?
Thank you. Thanks. It's good to see you again, by the way. I was actually just going to ask about the Hewitt Rebuild Programme. I'm just conscious that the original scheme was for 700. That was agreed some years ago now. I know certainly some of the local circumstances have developed since then. The Ofsted rating has improved. My question was going to be is would we have still gone for 700 today?
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you very much for your question. I think that's a really good question. One of the challenges for us, although we're as I say, we're very grateful that we've got the DFE funding as well as the other sources of funding that we have into the county for school places. I think it was a real challenge for this particular school because when the school rebuild programme began, as you've alluded to, the numbers were at a particularly low point. We at the time advocated very strongly for the 700, and that was based on the forecast information. I believe overall, on balance, that is still where we would land because it did allow some headroom for increased popularity and some degree of increased population into that rebuild programme. But yeah, it's always a challenge, and we have to give good evidence to the Department for Education for the school numbers. So obviously, originally the school had capacity for I think up to at one time 2,000 pupils. So it's a considerable change over time, but we are starting to see the green shoots of improvement in the school, and I'm sure that the investment in that building framework will make a big difference to its popularity as well. And I understand, obviously we're not directly involved in the scheme, but we do keep in close contact with the Multi Academy Trust as well as the Department for Education, and it's progressing really well on site, which is brilliant news for everybody. But I would like to just take the opportunity to say the projects that we've been successfully able to deliver in the last year, it's made a huge difference to have the infrastructure funding that's allowed us to deliver those projects. We're seeing some really excellent developments meeting that need and making a big difference to the communities around them to know that there's sufficient school places. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Daniel. Did I see Phil? You wanted to ask a question? Did I see your hand? No? No? No. Okay, fine. Okay, so we've got the recommendations in front of us to note the delivery update and also to commit to spending the 2.5 million. So we move to a vote on that. Is that agreed? Yes, brilliant. Thank you. So let's move on to item 6, which is a 5-year infrastructure investment plan to 2031. It's on page 27. And Phil, you're introducing this. And thank you both for attending. Phil.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, this is I have the annual pleasure of presenting this to the G&GB. And I normally just say, we've done this before, you know the process, and this is the programme. This is slightly different, as members will be aware. We do have the 5-year infrastructure investment plan set out. The recommendation is obviously to put that forward to the district councils in order to recommend approval. But this year it includes the annual growth programme, as it always does, which is set out on page 59. But it also includes a proposal to introduce or flip £7 million of funding that is currently still funded in the programme and flip that for borrowing, thereby bolstering that pot for future investment in infrastructure in the Greater Norwich area. So just in more detail, as you can see in the recommendation on page 27, there's £25.5 million left over from the City Deal borrowing. If we bring £7 million into the pot, that leaves 18.5, which would be made available for the County Council to draw down. A couple of other points to note, as set out in the paper on page 34. What that does is it requires a repayment of that borrowing to the tune of approximately £530,000 per annum. And as has been the case with all previous borrowing taken from this pot, we set aside a year's repayment. So again, that is set aside in the proposed programme and will be there for any eventuality at a later date. Also, I suppose the Bible of this document is the table on table 1, which I think is on page 54. That again captures both the current proposed annual growth programme and the additional borrowing that has been discussed and is in the recommendation. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Phil. And obviously we've had extensive prior discussions between members and officers around the content of the plan, and in particular the borrowing issue. And I think they're good quality discussions, and ultimately reaching a position where we were borrowing just the right amount to free up just the resource that we want, but not end up with resource unspent, which we want as well. So that was a really good grown up discussion that we had. And I think we're all really pleased to see the breadth of infrastructure investment across the piece included in this. It's, as I say, diverse and very welcome. So does anybody have any questions or comments? No. Sue? No. And we've got Kay's agreement, I believe, Chris. Okay.
Yes, just to confirm, Councillor Mason Billing was unable to attend due to a
prior engagement in London. However, she has given written authorisation that she supports the recommendations.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, in that case, shall we move to the vote? All those in favour? Are you going to vote on behalf of Kay? Yeah, okay. That's unanimous then. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. And so final item is the date of next meeting, 12th of March. I can't believe we're nearly into the spring, according to this. And it's here in this very room, 12th of March. So look forward to seeing